Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late May 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. It's the back end of Taurus season at the time of this filming. So let's see what we got for my good friends, my guide spirit team. Any messages, insights, energies, all that good stuff. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus, please, in late May 2024. And while I get this card shuffled and about to pop out, I would just want to once again say I hope you all had a fantastic birthday, because we're at the back end. So any of you that are on the cusp of Taurus and Gemini, I hope you have a beautiful birthday, my friends. Let's get it going. Let's get this card out here for Taurus, please. Thank you. Okay, there's a complex type of energy here. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of energies underneath the surface when I see this card, and it doesn't always have to be like super rough or anything like that. To me, it just feels like a lot, or just something that seems very simple, but there's more going on underneath. Now, before we really dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little bit more about this card. So if you look at the imagery here, the illustration, we see this woman. She's looking in a mirror. There's multiple mirrors. She is holding a mask over her face, various items that are all over that dresser there. And there's like the Russian babushka doll, which is like layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So everything in this image tells me that there's a lot going on. And I already told you, to me, it does feel like something, yeah, it might look simple, it might seem inconspicuous, but there's just a lot of energies that could be affecting you. So keep that in mind. Your empathy might be heightened in this time. Either you're juggling and dealing with a lot of stuff and there's a lot on your plate, or like these very subtle energies, they're not so subtle to you, if that makes sense. Like from the outside looking in, they might seem subtle, but from the inside out, it's like, feels like there's just a lot happening and a lot going on. So we're going to want to see what situations are showing up. And I would say to pace yourself, make sure you're grounding yourself and being kind to yourself when this energy shows up. But we're just going to leave it right there. Let's get into tarot. And I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a footnote. So let's get you 3 in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my lovely Taurus friends. God, spirit team, talk to me. And yeah, while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled Karma Gets Served. And I will say this, more than half the spread to me felt like a lot of karmic energy. There could have been situations going on where it's kind of in spirit's hands. There's like spirit saying, hey, let me handle this type of energy. So just know those energies could still bleed over for the next coming weeks. Karmic energy is powerful change, and that could last for quite a while, whether good, bad, or indifferent. So let's see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid. It's never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or someone that you're linked to. Let's get it going here. What do we got for Taurus, please, my guides? Talk to me. What do we got for my dear friends after their birthdays? Here we go. Thank you. Yeah, there's the world. So the karmic energy is showing up once again. Different chapter. For a lot of you, it could be like another chapter, next chapter of life. Makes sense around the time of your birthday. It's like, okay, that year's done. Let's move into the next. Let's get one more, or 2 more, actually. What do we got here for Taurus, please? Thank you. Another karmic card. Yeah, so a lot of you could be going through a really big time of metamorphosis. Okay, like with what I saw last week, and now it's showing up again. We're still. Let's get one more out here, and we'll really start piecing this all together. Thank you. All right, so something turning out for the best when we have that 6 of Wands. Beautiful card of victory on the back end. So this looks good. There could be a lot that's in flux, a lot that's in play. That's one thing I could say, but let's go through I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. So at first glance, I know I was making a little commentary as I was going through. Yeah, we have the double karmic cards here, strong major arcana. We have some earth, we have some fire. So these are energies that are generally pointed on the outside, which is intriguing because the oracle card felt like a lot of inward energy. Both of these on the back end are outward. So we could be talking about people making moves, taking action. It all really depends. These are very optimistic, though. Even though the world, it is what it is, the rest of this feels very optimistic. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out. So position number one, we have the World card. It is the last of the major arcana. Okay, so rightfully so. Sometimes it could represent endings. It could represent chapters closing. Now, when I see the World, I don't think of an ending similar to the Ten of Swords, where it's like lots of pain and really rough, unless a clarifier shows up that tells us that. The World to me is on to the next chapter, similar to the Death card in that way, where it could represent a change and it could just represent like Phoenix rising type of energy, where it's like, okay, well, that chapter is done. Let's move into the next one. The World itself is powerful. It speaks about the cycles of life. So once again, the change, the shifting, it's like something moving, the wheel is turning, very similar in these energies. When I see the World, I also think of the world itself. So for some Tauruses, watch out, like maybe world events or what's happening in the world today could be bothering you. Maybe there's someone you're connected to where they're like really zeroed in on what's happening in the world today. That's not always the message. But the main thing I think of this is either karmic energy, change, or on to the next chapter, right? Because a chapter could be closing out here. It's not treachery, though. That's one thing I just want to reinforce. Now, moving to the center, we have the Seven of Pentacles. There's a lot of little nuance to this card as well. And when I see the Seven of Pentacles, it's somebody who's in a waiting pattern, right? They're waiting, they're being patient. So there could be situations where your patience is required. Your patience is necessary. Hopefully you're not feeling stuck or anything like that when we have the Seven of Pentacles. For some of you, you might just need some time in nature to refresh your energies, right? Or to refresh yourself. The Seven of Pentacles to me is an interest in gardening and all things nature. So you see what I mean? There's so many different things with all the cards. But to me, this is a card of reaping a harvest. So when we have a beautiful card of victory on the back end and the Seven of Pentacles, it's spirit saying like, hey, you got something really big coming in, Taurus. You got something really good too. When we're talking about the karmic aspects of this card, it's you reap what you sow. What you put forth, you get back in return. So it's energy coming back around like a boomerang. And it could be very positive, right? Especially with what we have here on the back end. In its roughest case, it could just be something that has stalled out or something that's sticking around. So we'll look into that further, of course, when we get the clarifier. Now, getting to the very back end, we have the Six of Wands, one of my favorite cards in the whole entire deck. This is complete and total victory. It is triumph. It's overcoming something. It's getting kudos for the things you've done. It's gaining recognition for the good works that you've done, or something just going optimal. For a portion of you, this is good. If you're doing anything career-wise, this is notoriety. You see this often when people get like promotions or get a better position. But if we're just talking about life itself, this is like an optimal result. It's massive win victory type of energy, and I really like it. Now, where we run into the possible issue with the Six of Wands, it could be spirit telling you, like, hey, if there's anyone around you that's a little egotistical, you might want to keep a little distance with the Six of Wands, because it is like a very, yeah, look at me, it's grandiose, if that makes sense. So we're just going to leave that as is. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Taurus, please, my guide, spirit team. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. Because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the world here. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, world time. Talk to me. Why is the world here? Thank you. Oh, we got our good friend, the King of Cups, a.k.a. Kyle of Cups himself without a beard. He's drinking his cup holding that goblet. He's having a grand old time. For a lot of you, there could be a lot of changes of emotion, changes of feeling. Just know that in this time, you could be very up and down in general, which, I mean, that's not usually Taurus energy, right? Like when people think about Taurus energy, it's like very steady, very dependable normally. So I do say for a lot of you, this could be spirit saying like, all right, you're going to feel a lot of ways about this, or there is something where you're going to feel a lot of different things. Like it's the whole spectrum of emotion that I'm feeling here, like the 7 stages, if that makes sense. Now, the King of Cups, it could represent a water sign that you're connected to. Obviously, the King of Cups always shows up in like love readings. It's about creativity and deep emotional care, all that good stuff. So when I see him underneath the world, aside from the messages I already gave you about like feelings changing and like all the gamut of emotions, when I see him under the world, to me, it's something that you will be at peace with. Okay, so if it is an ending or a close to a chapter, it's like, okay, well, I'm okay with this, or like I'm at peace with this. There's an acceptance here. Okay, so there's a result or something that has happened or will happen where there's an acceptance of it, where it's like, okay, well, all right, let's keep moving forward. That's kind of the vibe this is giving me. So yeah, sure, some of you could be going through some chapters closing and endings and moving into new ones, but there's an acceptance attached to it. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I feel like it's very simple. So let's see why that 7 of Pentacles is here. I really want to get over to that 6 of Wands for sure. But let's see what this other karmic energy has to say. So why is the 7 here? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, the Knight of Cups in the upright. So we have this undercurrent of water, and just how I said in the last one, where like you could be experiencing the whole gamut of emotion. We're kind of seeing it right now already, like with the world. Now the 7 of Pentacles, like this one's changing and shifting. This one's starting to calm down. So I do want to say for a lot of you, like things are going to start to mellow out. Things are going to start to improve. Things are going to get much better. This is really good. Now, the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups are very, very similar types of energies, except the King is a little bit more matured in its ways and its actions. Knight of Cups in the upright is beautiful. So this could be spirit really saying like, hey, something really great's coming your way. Now, could it be in the form of personal connections? Absolutely. Does it have to be? No, it doesn't. We have water and earth right here in the center, which is possibilities. That's the one thing I really love. So this forward movement of the Knight of Cups with the 7 of Pentacles, it's kind, it's loving, and it's spirit saying like, listen, Taurus, there is possibilities here. This feels very fertile, if that makes sense. Okay, so whatever cycle you're closing out or whatever cycle you're moving into, there's a lot of fertile possibilities ahead of you, if that makes sense. It feels great. For another portion of you, what you have been waiting on or what you are waiting on, you could finally see that come to a head, if that makes sense. That's another message. Like 7 of Pentacles waiting with the Knight of Cups. It's like something's gonna happen. It's not coming in like the Tower. It's not coming in like the Ace of Wands. It's like, okay, well, that happened. Like I was waiting on that. So let's keep moving forward. Let's see what the 6 of Wands has to say. Then we'll get into Shadow card. I mean, the fact that the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups are in the upright, that's a really good way to receive these cards. But let's see what the 6 of Wands has for us. Thank you. Nice and quick. Yeah. All right, so we have the 10 of Swords in reverse, though. This is the best way we want to receive it. So I do feel for a lot of you, this could be several different messages. One, the things that you've experienced in your past, the good, the bad, the in-between, have built you into the person that you are today. Wear that like a badge of honor. That's like a message that's coming through. Very odd. I don't normally get messages like that. But the good times, the bad times, the trials, the tribulations, everything that you've been through, the good and the pain have kind of formed you into the individual you are. And you're a beautiful person. And you have great energy. The 10 of Swords in reverse could still represent something that didn't quite end the best. Like it's not optimal, but offsetting it with this 6 of Wands in the upright feels like, okay, well, this is the best possible end result. Okay. This could be something from the past as well. Okay. Like if this was in the upright, I would be like, hey, don't count your chickens before they hatch, or don't think that you won until, because that could really switch and change. When I see it in reverse, it's like, okay, well, you've already experienced the worst of something, if that makes sense, or like in regards to a situation or in something in general, you've already experienced the worst of it, know where to go but up type of energy. So there is this victorious energy here on the back end. Let's go through and do a quick recap though, Taurus, because there's a lot happening here. There's a lot of karmic energy at play. Let's talk about it. And there is energy of things ending and closing. Okay, and I've been seeing that in other earth signs as well. But if you kindly look in the box, position number 1, the first little note of chapters closing, we have the world with the King of Cups in the upright. So there is an acceptance to it, okay, where it's like, okay, it is what it is. Taking something with grace. But another vibe I was picking up, you might just be feeling a lot of complex things. We saw it here in the very beginning, lots of energies at play. We're seeing it here and there. It's like, all right, you could experience the full gamut of emotions, okay, like from all the way up to all the way down. But I feel like you're going to take it gracefully, or you will, especially if you're going through a closing or an ending. Moving to the center, we have the Seven of Pentacles with the Knight of Cups in the upright. So things moving forward, things starting to settle down, things starting to stabilize. So we're moving in a good pace. That's one thing. For another portion of you, if there's something you've been waiting on, or if there's something you are waiting on, it's coming in. Spirit's showing it coming in, and it's kind of like you expect it, or you expected it to happen. It's kind of giving me that vibe. It's like it's not coming in like a tower. Moving on to the back end, we have the Six of Wands with the Ten of Swords in reverse. Just know that all the things that you've been through in your life have molded you into the beautiful person that you are right now. Another thing that I will say about this is you're going to make the best of a situation. There is this victorious type of energy above the Ten of Swords in reverse, but we do have something ending, various things ending and closing out. And there's the karmic ties too, but I feel like everything is going to be okay. That's how this feels to me. So Taurus, please take a screenshot of that. Let's get you a shadow card here. Let's see what's in the shadows for my good friends, guides and spirit team. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see just yet. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. Okay, let's get one shadow card. And if you've made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it down in the comments. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love and appreciation for all my members. I really do. Okay, shadow time. Quick, I started the first shuffle and the card popped out, so I have to take it. You know I read jumpers. We got Lady Justice. So just like last week, just like this week, it's like karmic archetypes from front to back coming through in a very, very powerful way for a lot of you. Now, Justice is Libra energy. If you're not connected to Libra, when Justice shows up in the shadows, it could be spirit saying like, hey, if you're doing anything legal, if you're doing anything contractual, if you're doing anything where you got to put your signature on it, just be very careful and detail oriented with it, because justice can literally represent legal situations. So just keep your radar on when it comes to anything like that. But Lady Justice to me is something coming into a state of balance, and she is that biggest karmic energy. So this could be spirit saying like, all right, Taurus, things are going to start coming to a state of balance, or things are going to start evolving the way they need to, or how they were meant to. There's something about a situation where it went exactly how it was supposed to, even if it doesn't feel like that. So just know that, believe it. If a portion of you are at a point where you're making a decision, you're probably going to make the right one when we say Lady Justice in the shadows. We don't always understand the ways of the universe and why things happen the way they do. And that's kind of what this tells me. And that's okay. We don't always have to understand, right? But yeah, Taurus, that's what I have for you this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the May subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a one-on-one personal reading with me, you could check out my digital calendar at mastermetaphysics.com. But for the May subscriber surprise, we're doing a winner's choice this month, my friends. 2 lucky subscribers will get their choice of either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a wonderful deck. It's one of my favorites. Or you can choose a crystal pendant of your choice from my website. They're homemade. The energy is luscious. They're beautiful. So it's winner's choice there. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments where in the world you are from. You don't have to give me your home address or anything like that. It could be your country, state, province, whatever it might be. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you again soon.